Yo, what up, everybody? Yo, what up, everybody? Here we go again with another video. Apologize for last week. I just couldn't get to it. I was having a lot of live gig stuff going on, so I didn't have the time. However, we're back this week. I got something for you guys. It's going to be on the SSL native plugins, which used to be called the de-plosive, but I don't think I was alive back then. Anyways, we're gonna get into this plugin because on the VocalStrip, there is something called the de-plosive. The de-plosive is what's gonna fix this on your tracks and maybe on your track. So when we do this, there's a small little trick because for about 2 months, I could not get this to be effective. And as much as I want to use all of this plugin, I couldn't do it. However, recently I got a track that allowed me to practice and just try some stuff on, and I got a really sweet way of incorporating this into your mix. So let's get to it. All right, so here we are with a session by a person I mixed named Mike Lhai, and we are looking at a simple track that he made. It's just him, his verse, and 2 tracks for his hook. As you can already see, one of my older methods of taking care of these P's and B's was literally going in and fading into the P and the B. So you'll hear something like this. So you can hear the on the players. And so normally I'll go in and just kind of fade that in right there. Now I have another method, and some of you may be able to guess it.
When I enter the battle, the Vatican can't even answer your prayers, don't matter, cause I'll bat them down before they even make it to the stratosphere. You had to fear me when I arrived from the clouds, divine power abounds.
Perfect place, power. When I do this, I look for where the pattern begins to repeat itself, and you see it right here. So basically we're gonna highlight what we want to split, and then we're gonna double click. So that's just going to give us the range. And then from here is when we can do what's called the event effects process. If you are a Pro Tools user, you probably remember this process called Audio Suite, where you can just take a section of event and process. And if you have the HD versions of Pro Tools, you can actually put plugins on that clip. Well, in Studio One, you can do that naturally. Here's the clip. If I come down here to event effects and hit enable, I can now add an effect specifically for that. So we're gonna go to the SSL. I'm gonna insert VocalStrip. In VocalStrip, here's the de-plosive option. I'm just going to turn it on. I'm going to crank up the amount, and this is what happens.
Divine power abounds around.
Did you hear that static that is really sharp?
I ride from the clouds, divine power abounds around my.
Right, and that's one of the things that I didn't like. Even if we were to shorten this and just take that.
Ride from the clouds, divine power abounds around.
You see, it's still there. It's because the plosive is not able to register what it needs to hear really quickly, and the beginning of these plosives are really quiet. So it needs to hear this plosive almost instantly. So yes, I'm going to keep the amount cranked. I'm going to turn the threshold all the way down. So in other words, the de-plosive is going to hear this entire clip 100%, but it's just the section that we've isolated.
You had to fear me when I arrived from the clouds, divine power abounds around my vibe. Now
you hear that?
Make it to the stratosphere. You had to fear me when I arrived from the clouds, divine power abounds around my vibe.
So that's what I mean, where if you have this cranked, then you can make this sound as nice as you need to.
Clouds, divine power abounds around.
Now, if you go too far into the word, you'll start de-plosiving the actual word. So you want to just make sure you're only getting the breath.
Or to even make it to the stratosphere, you had to fear me when I arrived from the clouds, divine power abounds around my vibe. Now you're standing there.
So this method works really well if you have a hip hop artist and a rap artist and you still want to give them their punch in their P's and the B's without that soft fade in. The soft fade in may work for some singers, but this allows you just to work on the plosive itself and just tone it down. And you can see this graph, the EQ FFT display, kind of show you when it's running into it.
I ride from the clouds, divine power abounds around my vibe now.
And that low end just kicks up. It's just registering that instantly. And then if you don't have a lot of processing power, this is really sweet. We can just click render. And right then and there, we have rendered the SSL into that plosive.
I ride from the clouds, divine power abounds around my vibe now.
See? But as you see, the SSL VocalStrip doesn't really take up a lot of processing power. So you see, I have a couple of these running right now. So it doesn't really take up that much energy. So you are able to put multiple of these on a track. And now the sweet thing is the way I have it set up on my system. Let's remove this. And let's say I just encountered this for the first time. I'm actually using a macro now. With the macro, I can come in here and highlight such and just hit plosives. And it's automatically going to split and then initiate the vocal strip on the channel. So now I can move really quickly down the line as I hear more.
Bounds around my vibe, now you're standing there like a mannequin with your head trapped in the sand again. I panorama the gamut of rap, expanding the possibilities, add a new.
So like on possibilities, usually I will rather fade this one in because it's already soft. But for pure demonstration, I'm gonna hit plosives. Bam. Vocal strip in, it split my clip automatically.
The possibilities, add a new.
You see how soft that was? Let's just hear it from back here.
Ran the gamut of rap, expanding the possibilities, add a new spin on it.
So if you ever needed a reason to use a plosive on the SSL VocalStrip to get the most out of your subscription like I do, and you also want to give a nice natural P sound without having to fade in every single time, that's what I do. I highlight, press a button, and it does it. So you can just move across your whole vocal performance and do this, or whenever you just hear it too much or you just hear it occurs. It's a really neat trick. At this point, that's just how I do it. And whenever that trick doesn't work, I use my fade-in technique. I never have to worry about plosives again. So that's what I wanted to show you this time. I'm glad you guys were able to watch the video. If you like this, like and subscribe the channel. If you like me, please like and subscribe the channel. As I've already said, I aim to give you a new video every week. I recently picked up a PreSonus Quantum. This bad boy is nice. If you want to learn or hear more about it, just let me know and I can give you more information how I feel about the Quantum. But until then, ta-tas, people.